Hello Taurus, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connections. We'll look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section will be looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, especially if you are a cross watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Taurus, we're going to start with overall energy here through Oracle cards, and we'll dive deeper into the story with Tarot as we progress. So let's start with looking at your side of this connection. Taurus's energy toward this person. Soulmate recognition with growth and connection. So in your eyes, you and this person have a really deep, very important connection. And I feel like this connection has added a lot to your life for sure with this growth card. And I feel like this person, you see them as someone that is very... It's like you feel like your connection goes deeper than the surface. Like there's like this connection of souls almost that I feel you have with this person. Which is, I mean, it's a pretty beautiful energy, the way that you're feeling about them or the way that you see them, which obviously I like to see. So let's see what this person has. This person's energy toward you. Confusion, triggered. Interesting. Okay, so it feels like you have, these incredibly strong feelings for this person. And I think that on their side of things, the depth, because I said it from the beginning that this connection goes below the surface and like you can feel that. And I feel like that's something that honestly kind of stresses this person out in a way. And what I mean by that is it's almost like it pulls them deeper into themselves and deeper into needing to open themselves up and be vulnerable. And I feel like that's something that this person really struggles with. It's like they get very triggered by the depth of the connection. So this confusion card, I feel like, is the energy that they present towards you. It's almost like it's a very chaotic, like, I don't really know what they're thinking, what they're feeling kind of energy. And I feel like that comes from because the depth of the connection is something that's really difficult for them to handle. So it feels like it's not that I don't necessarily feel like they're confused about how they feel. I feel like they're like confused about what to make of it or what to do with it, even, because I don't think that this is something that they are used to in a way. Truth of this connection between Taurus and this person. friendship. So there's a foundation here that you and this person have. I feel like the relationship that you have is very important. But I feel like you're wanting more out of it. Yeah, because there's that dream come true card. So it's obvious that there's a lot of potential here. I feel like you and this person have maybe a lot in common, or like on the surface, I feel like you and this person fit like what the other person is looking for. And just going below the surface at like the soul connection that exists, it's obvious that you both, I feel like you both see there's a lot of potential in this connection. And I actually feel like that is what freaks this person out the most. Because I feel like this is something that's very new to them. Now, I feel like it's new to you too. Maybe you haven't ever really experienced this kind of depth in a connection before, and I feel like they haven't either. Which means, you know, there's going to be a lot of emotions involved in trying to figure out how to move forward with it. Let's get overall theme of this reading for Taurus. I feel like both people mean a lot to the other person. But I actually feel like you don't really know how this person feels much, because I feel like their energy is so difficult to decipher. Overall theme of this reading, karmic. So there's some sort of a karmic cycle that is blocking this person and this connection. It is for the highest good. For the higher good, excuse me. And then that card said lessons are being taught. I don't know why I flipped it over. I just felt the need to. So it feels, you know, when I see this karmic card, you know, usually there is a deeper purpose associated with the connection, something that it's trying to teach you. And a lot of times those cycles have this tendency of taking you like to really high highs, but also to a lot of lows too. You know, some painful experiences that exist within the cycle can come out too. With this, it is for the higher good card. I do feel like you and this person met for a reason. And I feel like there's a lot to unpack, because I feel like on the surface, things are really exciting and there's all that potential. But the way that this person's energy is presenting, it's almost like they're pushing away your energy more than allowing it to, you know, come together in a healthy way. So let's look, Taurus, at your side of this connection to the person you are dealing with. It's almost like this person's a bit of a mystery to you. Taurus's energy toward this person. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So it's interesting because I didn't expect, because this Wheel of Fortune in reverse kind of also gives kind of a karmic aspect to this connection. So I feel like in the beginning of this connection, things were magical almost. Like there was so much excitement and possibility that existed. And then I don't know what happened, but something happened here. There's the Queen of Wands with the Moon. Because I feel like there was a lot of passion and excitement that you once had toward this connection, but then it feels like things shifted. Things shifted in a way that became heavy. Because the Eight of Pentacles, and kind of falling under the Eight of Cups here, it feels like this has been a journey. Like you and this person, I feel like, have been on a journey. And it's something that you have put a lot of love, effort, and energy into. I mean, yeah, with the Knight of Cups, I feel like this is a very emotional, very heart on your sleeve kind of energy. And not that it was careless. I don't feel like it was a careless energy, but I do feel that it ended up like going a very different way than you expected with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Because with the Star here, you put in all of this work for this hope that you had. But now I feel like that the idea that you once saw this connection as, and the potential that you saw, like that has faded a little bit because of how things have been, but you still feel so deeply connected to this person that it makes it really difficult for you to know like what the right decision is and what the right choice is for you. You could be dealing with a fire sign, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, but you definitely don't have to be. Because it feels like the hope for this connection, the excitement that you experienced was replaced with fear and anxiety and darker energy, a heavier energy here. But there's still so much love. You still have love for this person. So I don't necessarily know what happened or like what unfolded. And I feel like this is a general reading. So it's, I can't get too specific because it's got to resonate with a lot of you guys. But I feel like from what this energy is, it's like it tells a whole story. It's like there was this intense falling in love with somebody, and it was passionate and it was exciting. And then like feeling like you were on top of the world, and then things just like shifting. Something happening, a shift taking place, and then being replaced with fear and anxiety and stress. And it's like a darker energy took the place of the bright, hopeful energy that was there. And I feel like, I know that I might be repeating myself, but I remember I'm trying to get the pieces together too. But there's still so much love here because I feel like you recognize this as a very deep soul connection, and I do feel like it is, which means that it's a little bit more difficult for you to, like it's harder to deal with, and it would be like a connection that you didn't feel such a deep connection to. It's like it makes things more confusing and overwhelming and scary, because also if this is something like you've never experienced something to this depth, there might be a part of you that believes you never will again. And I know that can be really hard when we are dealing with, desiring love and things like that. And I feel like it's important for you to know you can absolutely still have the love that you deserve, the love that you desire. But I also at the same time feel like there's something about this, about the way that this happened, that's important for like your growth and life journey in some way. I don't necessarily know that yet. I feel like we'll get there when we, as we keep progressing. But I do definitely feel like you and this person, you met for a reason. And I feel like there is very much a purpose for this, which might be hard to feel. It might be hard to feel that way, especially if things have been kind of dark and painful. What was interesting is I said I didn't expect this based on this energy, but I feel like it was really important to establish like the depth of this connection first before kind of like experiencing or understanding like what really took place here. Let me get more. So let's look at this person's energy toward you, triggered with confusion. Four of Wands in reverse right out of the gate. So it's just an unstable energy. I'm not necessarily saying this person, oh my goodness, okay. Ace of Swords in reverse. I'm not necessarily saying this person is unstable, but I do feel like they have some stuff, some struggles, some personal inner struggles that causes them to, especially paired with the Ace of Swords in reverse, it's like they struggle to see things in a clear way. I feel like in the beginning of this connection here, they presented themselves as someone who was very stable, very grounded, like cool, calm, collected. But then it feels like as time went on, the opposite seemed to be true. And I think that that's what's always interesting about, relationships in general is when we meet people, people are always on their best behavior, right? And as you get to know someone, who they really are starts to come out. And how, it's not necessarily like who someone is as much as it's like how they handle life, how they handle trauma, how they handle triggers, how they handle fights, how they handle emotions. And like the way in which people handle those things is going to be directly correlated with how much growth they've done, how much they've worked on themselves, how much emotional and self-awareness they have. And I feel like it's like they presented themselves in one way, but then as time went on, like almost became a different person, but was always actually that person all along. This person's energy toward you, Taurus. Ace of Wands. There is a lot of a passion in this connection for sure. Like I feel like both people have really intense, strong, and very real feelings for the other, but it's almost like this person doesn't have a solid inner foundation to be able to build on those feelings. Yeah, there's the Devil. So that could be addictions, unhealthy attachments. The Devil can show up in many different ways, habits, things that hold this person back and bring them down. And I feel like maybe you were unaware of this stuff for a while, but like over time became more aware of it. There's the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. The Devil blocked them from the opportunity in this connection because it feels like there was, like I said, so much potential of where this could go. But then this person, it's like their behavior completely sabotaged things here. I don't know what it was. I don't know what they did. I don't know what happened, but it does feel like there was like straight up some sabotage here. I said in the beginning that this connection was really deep and that this person didn't really know how to handle it. I think a better way to describe that is it feels like they weren't ready for it. Almost like they weren't healed enough to handle it almost. And I will never be someone that says like you need to be perfectly healed to be able to have a healthy relationship. You should be able to recognize your traumas and your triggers to be able to handle them in a healthy way so they don't become the burden of your partner. But another, very real thing that can get in the way is if you aren't doing the work to like handle your stuff and you're distracting yourself from it and using addictions or unhealthy patterns or behaviors to cover that up, obviously that's going to affect your partner. And it's interesting because this has nothing to do with you. I feel like the feelings that they have for you are still very there and very real, but so is like this unhealthy pattern of behavior that they carry too. So it's interesting because they recognize the depth of the connection, but it feels like the way in which they handle themselves, or like how they act when they get triggered, or how they act when they feel, I don't know, lack of a better word, like temptation. It feels like they're very driven by this unstable, like, inner world that they're holding on to. So it's very reactive. It's very not thinking about consequences and just kind of act now, think later. And that, I feel like, has gotten them into trouble a lot, not just in their lives, but like in this connection too, because I feel like it causes them to do things that harm you, but it's not, and I think when people do things to hurt us, we can often look at it as a reflection of like our worth, or what it is. Oh my goodness. What it is like, oh, this person doesn't care about me and that's why they did these things. I don't necessarily feel like that's the case at all. I feel like this person's got a lot of work to do on themselves. Hangman in reverse, Queen of Pentacles in reverse. It's almost like holding on to things that don't serve them with this just like tight grip. And, a lot of times when we have certain patterns of behavior, vices or things that, we cling to make us feel safe, even if we recognize those things are bad for us, we struggle to let go of them because they become like a false sense of security in some sort of way. So I don't necessarily know what happened here. I don't know how this person what they specifically did, but I can tell that based on the behavior, it's like they're hurting, and that they're doing certain things to avoid that hurt or cover that hurt up, that is then hurting you. And that's not an excuse. Okay, how other people hurt you is that's never okay. But understanding that can help you understand that it's not that you're unworthy, or that they see you as unworthy or unlovable, or that they don't care. It's that they don't, because people can only love you to the extent they love themselves. They can only show up for you to the extent that they show up for themselves. And it feels like this person doesn't, or struggles to really show up for themselves. So of course they're not showing up for you, right? They're not honoring their own emotional experience. They're not going to honor yours. They're not making healthy decisions for them. They're not going to make healthy decisions for you and for the connection. And the more that we can separate somebody else's decisions from like our own worth or value, and ultimately what it is that we deserve, the more that we can make healthy decisions. Now, I feel like there's just this added difficulty of but I feel so deeply connected to this person, and I feel like you do have so much empathy and maybe understanding and compassion for them and where they're at, and that's important. But remember that doesn't, unconditional love, unconditional empathy does not equal unconditional tolerance. And you are not here to put up with mistreatment for the sake of, somebody else struggling. And that's important. That's important for you to remember. No relationship that is truly meant for you will ever require you to sacrifice your mental or emotional or even physical well-being for the sake of it working. And I think sometimes when we we love someone so deeply, we have this tendency of loving them for everything that they do, their mistakes, their flaws, and it's almost like we justify their mistreatment of us by looking at our history of mistakes and flaws, and we're like, well, maybe this is what I deserve, and maybe we're meant for each other because we both struggle in certain ways. You deserve the love that you deserve. You deserve it all, okay? And if you're dealing with somebody who isn't capable of providing that to you, there's typically something that needs to be looked at or addressed to help you figure out how you can move forward so that you can protect your heart, so that you can protect your soul, so that you can find the love that you do truly deserve. We don't just have one soulmate in this life. There is not one specific person on this planet that is just 100%, let me put it, I do believe that everybody has a person, but I also believe that we all have multiple people, and we all have people that we can love throughout this life. And what I'm trying to get at is, if this connection doesn't work out for whatever reason, you can still have the love that you deserve and desire. And for some reason, I feel like that's such a deep fear. Because I feel like because of the depth of this connection, you're seeing this as like, well, if this person doesn't change their behavior, or if they don't get it together, or if this doesn't happen, like, what if I never find anything better? And I think it's important for you to know that the love that you deserve it exists, and it is out there, and it does not require you to sacrifice yourself in order to receive it. So I do feel like you guys met for a reason. I feel like there is a lesson here associated with this. And one of the things that I talk about a lot is looking at our relationships as mirrors and figuring out, if somebody isn't loving us well or treating us well, how is that pushing us to love ourselves better, to treat ourselves better, to choose ourselves, to value ourselves? When we're looking to be loved, valued, and chosen by someone else, we aren't really actually looking for that in another person. We're actually looking for that within ourselves. And when we find that within ourselves, then we attract the people who reflect that back to us. So in between this connection, where we'll look at that deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self, you have dream come true with friendship. I'm going to hop on over to the extended, and we're going to look at this a lot deeper. And then I've got an advice card to pull from your spiritual team at the very end in regard to this connection. So thank you so much, Taurus, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Taurus.